Hey guys, welcome back. I'm T, and this is the Breakthrough Code channel, and today we are going through the do while loop. Okay. Okay. So what is the do while loop? Well, in C sharp, the do while loop is pretty much the same as the while loop, except it executes its block of code once. So this is basically what the code block looks like for a do while loop. Okay. We start with the keyword do. Okay, ignore the dot there. Okay, we start with the keyword do. Then we have these braces, and then we have a following block of code that we wish to execute. Okay, and finally we have an expression where we check to see if we want to continue executing the statement in this block of code here. Okay. So let's head back over to Visual Studio, where in the last video we made an app that verifies a user has entered their PIN correctly. So it was like a banking app that our manager asked us to create. Okay, so if you missed that video where we showed you how to do this and how to use while loops, please go check it out. The link will be in this in the description below. So anyway, when we get to the bottom to the bottom of this console.write line, we are effectively assuming that the user has logged in. So now we want to present them with some options to maybe check their balance, make a payment, or basically log out. So kind of expanding on that bank app that we made in the last video. The options will be represented with a number for the sake of this demo. So we want to try and print the options to the user. We want a way to print the options to the user and verify the user's selection, but still show them the options if they pick a number that isn't one of the options. Okay, so and this will be a way of demonstrating how the do while loop works. Okay, so let's start off. We want a way to represent the user selection, so we'll go int user selection equals 0. Okay, so I'm just initializing that with the value 0 because I haven't got anything to put in there at the moment. Okay, and then we want to write the do keyword. So the do keyword, and that IntelliSense is going to do the rest for us. And again, that syntax that I showed you in the slide. Okay, so do while true. Okay, so meaning that it's going to execute whatever it is in here before that. So basically, we want to do a console.write line. So assuming that the user's logged in, what do we want to do? We want to ask them to make a selection. So we'll say, please make a selection. Okay? And then we want to list out the selections that they can make. Okay? So we're going to give them 3 selections. One that allows them to check their balance, or one which represents check balance. Okay, and then 2 will represent make a payment. Okay, and then 3 will represent them logging out. So log out. Let me get that. There we go. Cool. So okay, so now we've got the options for them. Let's grab whatever they select and put that in our user selection variable, and we can do that with that. IntelliSense pretty much does it for us. We don't have to code anymore. So okay, so now again, this is just for demo purposes, so we're assuming that the user is always going to enter an integer value here. If they don't, it's going to throw an exception. And but this is just a demo to show how the do while loop works. So let's not go off track here. So anyway, right, okay. So we've got their selection. Now, what we want to do is we want to check if what they inputted is valid. Okay, so we'll use this statement to and right. Okay, so let's check what the user's entered in. So we'll put in user selection to validate what they've entered in, and we'll say if it's not equal 1 and if the user selection, copy that and say it's not equal 2, and the user selection and say it's not equal 3. Okay, so if it doesn't equal any of our inputs, we want them to kind of want to throw an error to them to say, hey, yo, you've entered something in that isn't valid. Let's go with some string interpolation with that, so we can show them what they entered as well. So your, if I can spell, let's move that out of the way. Your choice, user selection. Is invalid. Cool. Right. Okay. So now that we've got that error shown to them, okay, we also want to validate that in our while condition, the Boolean expression. Okay. So because what we want to do is that if the user hasn't entered the correct value, 1, 2, or 3, then we want them to show them these options again, so that they can enter in the correct value. So it's going to keep going on, keep showing them the options until they enter the correct value. And if they enter the correct value, then we're going to come out of this do loop, and we're going to do something else. We're going to kind of like give them some sort of closing statement. So we'll say we use a switch statement to see what they selected. Okay. Okay. So the first scenario, or the first case will be. Let's put a break there as well. So that's the first case. And then we'll have the second case, which will be case 2. Right. Case 2, we'll have. So for case 1, sorry. What we're basically going to say to them. What's case 1? They want to check their balance. Okay, so let's print something out to the console saying your balance. Spell balance is 1. Actually, hang on. 1 million pounds. Cool. Okay. So they're pretty rich. If they don't go into that, if they select number 2, which is make a payment, we can show them a relevant message for that. Payment made to contact mother. So we're just basically hard coding some stuff there. And then we don't necessarily need to check for 3, because we know that to get to this state here, you would have had to have supplied one of these 3 values, or you wouldn't be able to get here. Okay, and then when you do get here, we're checking for the first 2 values. So to get into the default scenario, that means it must be 3, because it wouldn't be either 1 or 2. Okay, so then basically we can just say thank you, goodbye, because that means they selected option 3, which means that they want to log out. Okay, right. Let's run that and see if that works. Okay, so we'll run the application. Okay, so just to give you, before we actually go into that, just to clear everything up. So we've got a pin here. and it's going to ask us. We've got a hard code, a constant pin here. So this is the. We're just going to say that this is the pin for the user. We're going to prompt them to enter their pin number. When they enter their pin number, we're going to check if the pin number is correct. If it isn't, we'll keep asking them to enter their pin number. If it is, they logged in. Great. Then we're going to ask them to make a selection, whether to check their balance, make payment, or log out. If they don't, then we're going to read what they entered in. If they enter in something wrong, we'll show them this error message. If they don't, we'll show them this error message if they've entered something wrong, and then we'll go around the loop again because it won't meet this condition. If they have entered the correct thing, we'll come out here and we'll display one of these messages. Okay, so let's try that. So please enter your pin. So we know that our pin is 2006. We learned that in the last video. So we enter that, and then it says, great, you're logged in. Please make a selection. So let's enter in 5, a number that doesn't exist. Okay, it says your choice 5 was invalid. Please make a selection. So we'll try that 7 maybe. Again, tells us where our choice was invalid. So let's enter a valid number. Let's enter in check balance. Let's see what happens. So 1 for check balance. Your balance is 1 million. Great. Okay, cool. So that works as expected. I mean, let's try the logout scenario. Well, no, that works as expected. It's fine. So let's really extend this app with the do while functionality and really make it a bit more powerful. Okay, so if you don't log out, right? So if you don't select option 3 and log out, why shouldn't you be able to obviously continue doing more things in the app? Okay, so you should, if you don't log out, you should still be able to, check your balance, and you should still be able to use the app again, basically. So let's wrap everything around the do while loop. Okay, and let's grab all of this code here and plonk that in the do while loop here. Cool. Okay, and then we want this user selection, or this scenario here. So we want to come out of this big do while loop, this do while loop that wraps around everything, if it equals to, if the value equals 3. So when it's not equal 3, then we want to continue going into the loop. But when it is equal 3, yeah, then we want to come out of this, okay? Because then this would be false when it does equal 3, and we'll come out of this whole loop structure. Okay, now it's thrown an underline here because it's saying that this does not exist in the current context. Okay, so basically that means is because we declared our variable within the do while loop, it's not able to access it here. So we need to move this variable to a more global area where it can access that variable. Okay, so if we just put it outside of our do while loop and put it here, then it will be able to access it in the do while loop and all the inner stuff, all the inner code blocks within the do loop, the do while loop. Okay, cool. So let's run that now, okay, and see how this change has affected our application. So it says please enter PIN. So let's go 2206. Great, you're logged in. Okay, so let's check balance and see if it keeps us logged into the application. Great, it says your balance is 1,000, and then it asks us to enter our PIN again. Okay, so that worked as expected, but it's not very nice, because if the user's already logged in, why do I need to, enter my PIN again and again? So maybe this is basically showing to us that there are some bits that we need to move out of the main do while loop that's wrapping everything. So how about we move this out of the do while loop? Okay, so get that out and stick that over here, so that when the code initially runs, it does all our logging in stuff here, okay, and then it goes into the do while loop, does all our selection stuff here, and then when we now log out, when we now finish doing all our selection stuff, ooh, yes, when we finish doing all our selection stuff, if we don't log out, then it will come back to ask us for more selection stuff rather than asking us for a pin and things like that. Another thing that we might want to do as well, just to make it a bit neater, is we'll give a space between this so that when we come back to the top again, it kind of has a line in between, okay? So when we come back to this part, you know, there's a bit of separation, so we know that we've started the app again, okay? So let's try that, okay? So when we run the app, it says please enter PIN, so let's log in, so 2006. Great, you're logged in, please make a selection. Okay, so in this scenario, we want to make a payment, okay? And then it says payment made to contact mother, please make a selection. So now you're seeing that it's allowing us to do more things than just, you know, it's not, we're not having to log in over and over again, basically. So let's check our balance again, so we can do that. And then I guess it says please make a selection. So again, it's the app is becoming more reusable, basically. Okay, so and if we log out, then it says thanks, goodbye, and it comes out of the application. Great. I think that pretty much covers the functionality of the do while loop. If you liked it, if you liked the video and really learned something today, please like or comment below, and please subscribe if you can, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, and have a good day, guys.